Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And today we're going to be doing our library update for June 1st, 2022. These are all of the games that joined the SideGame library, all of the upgrades, and all of the things that we pre-ordered that we're excited to try. If you have any questions about anything you see here, please let me know down in the comments below to this video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. And for those of you already subscribed, thank you so much for the continuous support. Let's get started with our library update for June 1st, 2022. Now I'm going to try to talk about these as fast as possible because we have so many games to go through. This was a very heavy month for everything. Starting off with the upgrades, we have the Playmats for Planet Unknown. These are replacements for the paper boards. Super nice, feel great, and they fit in the core box. We've got the currencies for the Jordan Draper games. This is the Tokyo series. We have the Tokyo currency, which is extremely nice. It can fit in a lot of different games. And then currency Toraku. This one, not so much, really awkward. The currency is rice cookers, dishwashers, and trucks. We've actually just put this in Tokyo Game Show, which we'll talk about later, because don't really have a good place to put these. If you have any ideas, let me know. We've got extra deluxe wooden bullets for Bullet, and these are awesome. The new Bullet Star allows you to play with more players than normal, so you can play a giant epic 8-player game, but to do so that you're not mixing and matching the different bullet types, we want to use all wooden. We got an extra set of the deluxe bullets here. You can find them on the website. And that's all of the upgrades. Now we go into the new games for the library, starting off with Foundations of Rome, giant welcoming game that has an amazing production, feels good to play, and I love the simplicity of the actions. Really like this one. Next up we have the new expansions for Solomon Kane. So Wave 2 finally arrived. I've been playing more of that Wave 1 content, and there's a whole bunch of content for this game. Lots of big stories, and the new expansions put you all over the world. You have one where you go to Africa, one where you go to the Americas. There's a lot of neat content in these new expansions, and I'm excited to play more. Solomon Kane is a great storytelling experience. Up next, we have the Tokyo series. I received all of the Tokyo series through a trade. Traded some store credit for it, and I've been playing through all of it. First off, we have Tokyo Jidohanbaiki, and this one is not very good, honestly. This one has a lot of mini games. In one game, they use the Jidohanbaiki, which is the vending machine systems, to play a lot of these games, and unfortunately, I found this one very frustrating because a lot of the stuff is very fiddly. You have to put them into these little containers, and they have a lot of cool ideas. The components are neat, but the actual execution I found is preventing me from wanting to play more because most of the games have been very lackluster and not very good at all, and I don't want to try more of the 20 different games that come in it. I've tried multiplayer games and solo games, have not been impressed at all. Next, we have Tokyo Metro. Really like this one. It actually has you controlling the different investments on the Tokyo Metro system. It uses a great simple worker placement system with these little cards on the side here, and the games are very close and very tight, and I love the way that the map is empty at the beginning, and then you start filling it in with the actual Metro system. Amazing game. I really like this one. And then I got the expansion for this one as well, Osaka Metro. Haven't played this yet, but I picked it up after trying the original, and this apparently tightens up the game by making it a little bit shorter, a smaller map. This sounds like an amazing time, and it's what I really want from this experience, a shorter, tighter time frame as well. Next, we have the Tokyo Tsukiji Market. I have not played this one yet. It's the only one from the series I haven't played yet. I'm actually taking this with me on vacation today, well, as of recording this video, so I'm going to hopefully try it while I'm visiting my brother down in Florida. It looks really cool. It looks like a new take on Container, but where the commodities actually have things tied to them, special abilities and values. And we also have the expansion of this, Tokyo Tsukiji Expansion. I hear that it solves some of the issues in the original game, offers more of the different markets that you can go to. Sounds like a no-brainer expansion. Next, we have Tokyo Game Show, my favorite of the Tokyo series. This is amazing. This has you playing as a game night host or whoever is running it, and you are running through all of these different mini games. And you do that by drawing these cards, and the different contestants will be doing a variety of things. What's stopping it from becoming a 9 or a 10 game for me is that some of the games just are not very good. Very small handful of them, but some aren't good, and you might have lulls in the gameplay, whereas it's supposed to be this chaotic experience when you run into those bad games. There's also some crossover content where you can use the other games for this game, and some of them are good and some of them are not so good. So something to be aware of. Tokyo Coin Laundry is very similar to Tokyo Jidohanbaiki, whereas it's a bunch of little mini games put in one package. It's a really cool concept idea, but a lot of the mini games stink because the components are extremely fiddly, and the games just take a long time to set up and are not that fun. However, there's an RPG in here that uses some of the components, and I think that one's actually quite fun. It sets up a fun stage, but it really puts the pressure on the players to make the experience a good time. And then Tokyo Jutaku is the last one we'll be covering here for the Tokyo series, and I really like this one too. This one is a dexterity game where you are speed taking these tiles from the center and placing them on your cards. Talked about this recently on Corporate Cardboard, and I like how it's restrictive but also a little bit of push your luck. You're deciding which of these challenges you want to take based on the point values that they give, thinking if you can do it within the time restrictions. Very, very cool game. Now we move on to Monster Expedition. This one here is a very small filler game. You're rolling dice in a creative way. You're trying to take different dice of values, and every time you get a repeat value, you have to lose one of those dice. A very simple setup. It's got a good solo mode on the back with different varying difficulties, and then the game itself, though, does suffer from a lot of the cards having the same abilities. There's not a ton of variance, so this is almost a very one-note experience, but I do find the solo mode very fun because I just enjoy that rolling system. You also have these little upgrades on the bottom here, and you can increase your odds by performing with lower rolls, and so you're trying to balance those two different things. Up next, we have the New York Zoo. This is a polyomino game where you're creating a zoo. You've got these different characters that you'll be multiplying by passing these different breeding spots on the board. I've only played the solo mode for this so far, and it's fun. It's a good challenge. You have to manage your different movement values while trying to fill up your entire board. I like the breeding mechanism here, and I like the board, how the polyomino pieces are stacked on top of each other, so they get worse over time. Up next, we have Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, the BakerStreet Irregulars. Didn't realize this existed. We have the other ones for our library, and this is just more Sherlock Holmes. I hear this is the best in this set. This has Sherlock telling you, hey, go find out this mystery, and then answer a bunch of questions, and then be super impressed by Sherlock at the end, because he's way better than you. Then we have Sherlock Holmes BakerStreet Irregulars. This is pretty much in the same line as the Crusoe Crew, which I quite enjoyed, especially in a teach environment. So I'm excited to play this with kids and see how they take on the different puzzles and crime solving. Next, we have the Unmatched Series. We went all in on this one. 10 out of 10 game for me. I think that the system is incredibly intuitive, simple, fun to play, and exciting to play. Set up a board, get your two characters, and fight. You're trying to knock out those other people, and there are just so much interesting content for this game that is not cluttered by a variety of rules. The complexity comes from the cards, and it's amazing. I played all the Cobble and Fog stuff so far, and all of the Volume 2 stuff, and it's wonderful. I really enjoy the different characters. So far, I really like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I think that the Invisible Man is also extremely annoying to play against, but it feels great when you finally take them down. Haven't played any of the Jurassic Park stuff yet, but the Raptors sound fun. Robin Hood versus Bigfoot. Bigfoot looks awesome. I've actually tried some of the Buffy stuff, and Buffy herself is really cool. She's got this ally that you can switch between, and I've actually gotten interested. My wife and I, Ariana, we've been watching the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series to try to understand who these characters are because I've enjoyed this system, and I want to learn more about the characters that are in it. We've also got the Dr. Sattler versus the T-Rex. If you go to the Restoration Games website, you get a miniature for Dr. Malcolm. Amazing. And then you got Bruce Lee. I was able to get a copy of him. He is awesome. He is a lightning fast character, very scary to play against. And then Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. Amazing matchup. And then we have Marvel stuff as well with Redemption Row. My brother really enjoys the Marvel sets, and his wife Jessica really likes Moon Knight. And we have Hell's Kitchen here with more Marvel characters. Deadpool set, I was able to find a couple of these, which is awesome. And then lastly, we've got the Volume 1, played all of these as well. Really enjoy Alice and her size changing abilities. Sidman is great for the different draw cards, and Medusa is crazy strong. I love that she's ranged, has minions. She's honestly got it all, and she's pretty awesome to play and pretty terrifying to go against. So that's all of the Unmatched stuff. I'm so impressed. I just want to play more of this all the time. And next we have Throw Burrito. This is a very fun spoon-style game where you have these burritos in the center of the table. You toss them at each other. Very much a social, enjoyable, fun experience with very quick-paced gameplay with some very fun moments. Throw Avocado is the same thing, but the battle cards are a little bit more convoluted. If you're trying to get one, I would recommend Throw Burrito over the other one, but I do really love the Avocado aesthetic. They're adorable, and some of the cards are pretty hilarious. You can also do a combo game with the two of them. Haven't played the combo game yet, but I have enjoyed my time with both of these games. We have Space Base, The Mysteries of Terra Proxima. This is a campaign-style exploration game. You're going to be having this deck of cards, very similar like Maracaibo or Dead Reckoning, and you're going to be introducing new content as you play it. You can just pick it up and continue. Not going to get into any content here. If you like Space Base, you're going to like this. Up next, we have the Planet Unknown. I really like this game. Played the first multiplayer game of it yesterday, and it was a blast. The intuitive nature of the Lazy Susan in the center is going to adjust the tiles to different players, and it's so awesome because in the middle of each player, you have objective cards, so you're not just worried about what's on your board, but also your opponent's, and choosing that Lazy Susan can be as beneficial for you as it is shutting down the other players. You also have this combinations of the planet as well as the different boards for the corporations. The combination of those is so interesting and so much fun. I really like this game, and I this is also in one of those categories that I just want to play more of this. This is really good. Next, we have Cartaventure Vinland. Haven't played this, bringing this on my trip, solo or cooperative game. Probably going to play it by myself or with Ariana if she's up for it, but this will probably be my relaxing game. Up next is Bullet Star. This one here is an expansion to one of my favorite games ever. I love it. This has a bunch of crazy new characters with a lot of interesting design space. This one in particular here, this one with the fireworks, is so cool because she's restricted on the amount of patterns she gets, but she has giant explosive turns and can feed a lot of bullets into the enemy's sides. So many cool things in Bullet Star, and I just want to play more of this as well. Amazing game. Then we have the Root expansion, starting off with the Marauders. This adds 2 new factions and some hirelings. The Lord of the Hundreds is the only one I've played so far, and it's such a good time. Super interesting as you're just consistently aggressive, and I love that it also uses the items in the game. You also have the hirelings, which are awesome additions to lower player count games, and I think just in general, they're really fun. They're new species that just populate the board, and you interact with them by reaching certain point thresholds, and they also serve as a catch-up mechanism going to the players and then giving them more chances to actually use them if they're behind. I really like this idea, and it's a lot of fun. They're very interesting. I've used the ravens, the protectors, and the bunnies, and I really like the ravens. They have ways that they can attack as well as steal cards. And then lastly, we have the Clockwork expansion 2. Adds more factions for the Automa as well as the cooperative mode. Awesome. This is a great expansion because it's going to allow you to just play more Root in more varied settings. And we have Set of Watch, Swords of the Coin. Been recommended this a lot. I played the original Set of Watch. Was not a big fan because I only played it cooperatively. It felt like I was being told what to do a lot of the time and there were right plays and very much susceptible to quarterbacking. But I played this one as a solo game, and I think it's much better as a solo experience. You have full control of the different characters, and I really like the item system in this game. You have these items that you're going to need coins for, and going to certain action spots gets you coins. And if you don't use those action spots for a while, they accumulate coins. What a great concept. I really like these additions to Set of Watch. Up next, we have Summoner Wars, another 2-player head-to-head game. Have not had a chance to play this one, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I love the different mages that you can be, their own decks, and the chess-like system of moving characters around and summoning them. I really want to table this one as soon as possible. Next up, we have Port Royal Big Box. This is a new edition of Port Royal, and it all has this nice uniform artwork that looks very nice. I love that it's got all the content in there, and now I can play solo and co-op without hunting down all those extra expansions, and the box price is pretty dang cheap, only being $25 from major retailers. Up next, we have Nova from Marvel Champions, character that likes to utilize the wild resources, has this helmet that you'll fetch out on your first turn, that's going to produce one every turn, and then when you attack, you're actually going to be able to unexhaust that helmet and do it over and over again. Lots of value from those wild resources, but does not hold a candle to the other Marvel Champions hero that came out this month. That is Ironheart. Amazing tech-based hero. This one is going to be upgrading herself, and she's awesome. Her new character is going to have you spending time and energy to actually produce resources on herself, and then you can spend those to give her better abilities and stats, and those abilities and stats are also affecting all of the other cards in her deck as well. She is such a cool dynamic hero, and one of my favorite in this series. So far, the Iron Man line in general is pretty awesome. I really love Iron Man, I really love War Machine, and Riri Williams is incredible. Get this hero back if you like Marvel Champions. And we go to Burn Cycle. Burn Cycle is awesome. It's another one of those games that I'm thinking about constantly. Had a huge long teach of this game, but it was well worth it because now the system makes sense, and this is one that I can facilitate teaching quite well, I think. I think that these systems are all unique and interesting, and it's an awesome stealth experience. I love the different ways that you can set up the missions and the bots, and I want to play more of this as soon as possible. And the last game that entered the library is not necessarily a board game, it's an RPG experience from Renegade Games, and I think that this is amazing. It's a very unique experience as you're going to be using your phones to text during the actual gameplay. So you'll be texting messages based on the characters that you've assumed, trying to figure out what's happened to Alice, who has gone missing. There's a bunch of content where you can pin out posters and make it very atmospheric with music, and I do recommend playing that way. It is an amazing experience, it's very memorable, and I think it's one that you should give a try, especially with a lower price point. Group of 4 is amazing. I think 5 might have been a little bit better though. So happy that there is replayability in this small box, and it's an experience that I want to go back to. And that wraps up all of the different games that have entered our library. Now we move on to the pre-orders, starting with Raw Deluxe. 25th Century Games is a company I really like, and this new edition of Raw is beautiful. You have this great classic design that has amazing artwork. I really like the way that it pops and its vibrance, and this is the time to back it for this awesome deluxe edition. Next we have Battle Crest. This is a skirmish game that is button shy, so it's going to be a small package, it's portable, and it plays 1 to 4 players. I love this concept, and I hope that it iterates on this a bit better than the Clash of Decks system did, and it's going to be one that I gravitate towards a lot. I've enjoyed Button Shy's solo experience, and I hope that this one does a great job with this idea. So it honestly looks like a mix of something like Clash of Decks with Summoner Wars, with the cards serving as units or potentially maps. Super excited to try this one out. And then, not showing up on the website for some reason, but we actually pre-ordered a copy of the deluxe edition of Wonderland's War. So this is the retail edition that you can get on Skybound's website, but for a time, which we have the receipt for, so hopefully it is coming, we have pre-ordered the deluxe edition of Wonderland's War. I really enjoy this system and I want to play more of it. Played my friend Ashley's copy of the game and had a great time with it. So luckily we were able to score that deluxe edition with the upgraded components and the extras, so want to play more Wonderland's War. Happy for when it arrives. And we have Castles of Burgundy, the special edition. Yes, this is my third time buying this game, but I think it'll be well worth it, particularly because of the announcements of upgraded tiles. Oh my gosh, there's going to be acrylic tiles for the ultimate tier for this game, and that sounds incredible. I love the idea of having these large hexagonal pieces. It reminds me of Yellow and Yangtze when those tiles were upgraded from the BGG store. That is amazing. I'm so excited to be handling a game of this high quality with components that match it. So excited. The artwork looks amazing. The boards look awesome. And I just love the idea of more and more expansions. Yes, give me more Castles of Burgundy, more ways to play. Love it, because this is a game that gets played. Let's play some more Castles of Burgundy. Up next, we have new maps for Cartographers. And this is awesome because not only is it giving us 3 brand new map packs, but additional heroes to spice things up. I'll take it. I love the map packs and my favorite addition for the Cartographers systems. Up next, we have Arcs, Cole Worley, Leader Games, and Kyle Farron at it again. Loved Oath, loved Root, and I hope that this trick-taking experience brings this amazing space combat to fruition. It has this cool system where you can play as a larger campaign, and it looks like it's the easiest one of these style of games to actually get played. I'm excited to try this one. I mean, look at this whole art aesthetic. Let's play some Arcs. Amazing. Then we have Batman Gotham City Chronicles Season 3. I've been waiting for this so long because not only does it offer more new content, new forms of Batman, new miniatures to represent different goons, including rocket penguins. How awesome is that? But it's also going to include a lot of quality of life improvements, including this Bat Computer Files, which gives you new upgraded rulebooks, player aids, hero skills mini sheets, which is super awesome because you just give those to a player. There's no referencing rulebooks or anything during the actual game. And the thing I'm most excited for is the solo cooperative mode, taking all of the previous content, making it playable all the time now, and having an intuitive AI deck that's going to change based on the missions so that the cards actually match whatever the objective is. This is an awesome system, and with Paul Grogan doing that rulebook correction, I hope that it'll be an easy one to learn and get played. So excited for Season 3 of Batman. Then we have the new Marvel Champions content that's announced. This is Mutant Genesis. This looks amazing, introducing new types of cards, the entire X-Men series, and we starting off with 2 new heroes, Colossus and Shadowcat. Now, Colossus looks the most interesting to me. He's got this ability where he can have a lot of tough statuses, and every time he flips, he's going to get extra tough statuses, and this is a really cool system. It reminds me of someone like Groot, who had a lot of these counters that he could accumulate and generate, but the tough statuses seem a bit more proactive because you can use them right away, and it looks like his cost curve is a little bit low. That being said, he does have a smaller hand size, but because you're flipping back and forth, I think that it should be okay. There's no pre-order link for them yet, but Phoenix and Cyclops are also being released at the same time, so lots of mutant content right away from Marvel Champions. And that's it. That's the library update for June 1st, 2022. These are all the games that entered our library, all the games we pre-ordered, and then some of the upgrades for these games in our library. What do you think of the games that we talked about here? Which games entered your library during the month of May? We'd love to hear what you think. And once again, if you have any questions about anything you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. I'm just super excited to talk about some games. Hopefully getting Summoner Wars played as soon as possible. Want to play more Burn Cycle, want to play more Unmatched. There are so many awesome games that entered the library. Ooh, this is going to be an amazing summer. But thank you so much for watching SideGame Strong.